I'm going to have to ask you to move out of this house. Fine by me. I'm so glad that I no longer have to see you or your child's face every day.
Helen, you're so stupid.
If only you had tried to get along better with your mother-in-law, you would have been able to live in this gorgeous home.
You all seem to be looking at the situation incorrectly. What are you talking about?
Trouble busters!
My name is Helen. I live under the same roof as my husband and his mother along with our newborn baby. Not again. Oh, Helen, you're home.
Hi, Helen.
Hi, Ariel. I know that I said this many times before, but could you please let me know in advance when you're going to come over? Ariel is part of this family. She is welcome anytime. She doesn't need your approval. I'm not talking about my approval. It's more about common courtesy. Besides, I have a baby to take care of and the baby has a nap schedule, so I need to know in advance if guests are going to show up at my doorstep. Why does your baby need to be on a sleep schedule?
Or do you do things around the house while Ken is at work that you don't want him to find out about? Is that it?
Or you don't want me to find out that you haven't been taking care of the household chores as you should be. I need to keep a close eye on Helen.
Yes, you should. You don't know what she's up to all day. I make sure to get my chores done on time every day. I'm envious that Helen gets to live under the same roof as you.
I wish that I lived with you instead of Helen. You're a great wife to my son.
Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's not fair of you to compare me to Ariel. Not only do I have my baby to take care of, I also have a full-time job. Ken is very supportive. You do remember why we began living under the same roof in the first place, don't you? Your husband, who was a gardener, broke his leg, and so we had the two of you move into our home. He fell from a high place and he had a bad fall, which caused his legs to be paralyzed. Because he was hospitalized for a long period of time, he also got dementia. We wanted to be supportive, but we did ask that you do not meddle in our lives too much after you moved in. That was a rule that we came up with when my husband was still with us. It's natural for the rules to change now that we are different circumstances.
I agree. Rules and laws change and adapt over time.
Thank you for having my back, Ariel. You're not listening to me. Please give me some space. Otherwise, we can't continue this living situation and I'll need to discuss this with Ken. Fine, talk it over with Ken, but Ken's my son. He'll agree with me. You might think that you're so important because you have a full-time job. Don't forget that you're Ken's wife, and it is your duty as his wife to keep him happy. Don't expect him to help you with the household chores. He has a full-time job too, you know? If you can't get any of the housework done, I suggest that you quit your job. You don't seem to get it, but it's actually quite common these days for married women to have full-time jobs as well. Well, you should think about Ken's well-being then. Why do you need to work in the first place? Can't you make do with Ken's salary alone?
I feel bad for Ken. Ken and his brother earn about the same money, so I don't think that Helen needs to continue working. We have a very comfortable life, so Helen, if you make the effort, you should be able to do the same as well.
Do you want me to teach you about frugal spending? Then you could be a stay-at-home mom. I'll teach you everything that I know. I don't need you to teach me anything. I'm fine, thank you. Are you so sure about that? Because you don't look fine to me. To be honest, I don't really care about what happens to you or your baby. But as long as you're married to Ken, I need to make sure that he's well taken care of. Don't use your work as an excuse to not be a good wife to Ken. I'm going to have to ask you to move out of this house.
Helen, are you sure this is the right way to go about things? If you really are going to move out of this house, I'll be more than happy to move in here with my husband.
Gosh, I hate them both so much. They're the ones that are creating more work for me. I told Ken about his mother and his brother's wife had treated me. Why are they so annoying? Will you help me come up with a way to get them to leave us alone?
Don't let him get to you like this. I think that if you act a little more like Ariel, my mother wouldn't have any issues with you. Ariel is very good at keeping my mother happy.
What kind of crappy advice is that? You're not helping me make the situation any better. I'm gonna sleep in Gavin's room tonight.
Helen, wait! I didn't mean to make you angry.
Don't touch me, Ken.
I'm in a difficult position here. She's my mother and I want the two of you to get along.
I was disappointed with Ken and I felt completely alone. My mother-in-law was not pleased about the fact that I had a full-time job. And Ariel wasn't helpful either because she always sided with our mother-in-law. And Ken was just absolutely useless. My relationship with my mother-in-law continued to be bad. It was really hard living under the same roof as her. She was such a difficult person. Then one day, she went in and did something totally unforgivable.
Hi, Helen. How are you? This is Alan from the daycare center.
Hi, Alan. Why are you calling me in the middle of a workday? Is something wrong?
Actually, yes.
What is it? Don't leave me in suspense. I left work early and rushed home after speaking to Alan. I also called my husband and told him about what had happened. What were you thinking? Shut up! This was the only way that I could get you to listen to me. Huh? It doesn't make any sense for you to take Kevin to a daycare center every day. It's a complete waste of money if you ask me. Besides, don't you think that Kevin would be happy if you raised him yourself? You're crazy, you know that? I have a full-time job and going to daycare is a good thing for Gavin as well because he gets to interact with other babies his own age. The fact that you went and picked him up without my permission is unbelievable. I'm his grandmother. I didn't do anything wrong, and all I did was bring him home. Gavin's teacher at the daycare center said that you refused to listen to him and you took Gavin home against the rules. I've had enough of Ken's mother's nonsense. I didn't want to live under the same roof as her any longer. It wasn't good for Gavin either, to be around this crazy grandmother. I'm not going to forgive her. Trouble busters! Look, if you have a problem with me, I suggest that you move out of this house. Let's talk this over with Ken tonight. I'm sure that he'll agree with me. I don't want to see you or Kevin in this house anymore. I don't think that it's your place to make this decision.
Mom, what's going on here? Helen told me that you disobeyed the daycare center's rules and took Gavin home.
Ken, listen to me. I was only trying to help. I know that I can be a bit harsh at times, but I do it out of a love for this family. You need to understand that. It hurts me to think that you and Helen had turned on me because of this. We're not turning you. We're simply asking you to respect our rules and boundaries. It upsets me that you felt the need to take Gavin out of daycare without consulting me first. I did ask you. Please don't lie to me. It'd only make matters worse. And why would Gavin's teacher call me out of work and tell me that there was trouble? I have no idea. Don't ask me. It must be some sort of misunderstanding. Ken, you know that I love Kevin and wouldn't do anything that I thought wasn't good for him, right?
I guess so.
See? I thought that you were okay with me picking up Kevin early from daycare, which is why I did so. I don't know why Kevin's teacher called you and made the situation look bad when I wasn't doing anything wrong. If anything, it was that teacher's fault. He created this misunderstanding. I missed Kevin and wanted to play with him at home. Where's the harm in that? Kevin is my precious grandson after all. You both understand, right? Actually, I don't. You never showed any interest in Gavin, so I'm assuming that you only picked him up for selfish reasons. In fact, you never even called him by his name or held him and gushed over how cute he is. Ken, why is Helen so cruel to me? What did I ever do to her to make her hate me so much?
I think that we're going to need to take more time to sort this out as a family. For now, I need you to calm down. Helen, I'm sorry that I wasn't aware about what was happening at home.
Ken.
I had no idea that things between the two of you had gotten so bad.
Well, it has, and I don't think that I can continue living under the same roof as her, Ken. That's what you want as well, right, Helen? It doesn't make sense for two people that don't get along to live with each other. In fact, I don't mind if you and Ken got divorced and you found yourself a new nice husband and a nice new mother-in-law as well.
Mom, now you're just being ridiculous.
I'm sorry, Ken.
I'm going to talk things over with Helen first and let you know about our decisions. Does that sound fair?
Actually, can we sit down and talk just the two of us first?
I already know what you're going to say, so I'd rather talk to Helen first.
Ken, I don't mind if you talk to your mother first. I can wait.
Are you sure, Helen?
Yes, I'm sure. I have something that I want to check and prepare anyway.
Check and prepare?
She means that she wants time to prepare her concocted story. Nope, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm gonna fill out some divorce papers.
What? Helen, where's this coming from?
I don't feel safe living in the same house as your mother, Ken. She clearly doesn't care about me or Gavin's well-being. Who knows what she'll do next? Until I get a formal apology from her and a promise telling me that she'll stop harassing me and stop using this house as leverage, I'm gonna file for a divorce. If the only solution to this is me moving out, then I'm going to divorce you, Ken.
Okay, I understand, Helen.
I need to go care for Gavin now as well, so I'll let you two talk.
Okay, Helen.
I guess that this is for the best. I know that I've kept you all waiting for some time now. As of today, Helen and I will stop living together in this house. And you're happy about this decision, right, Helen? Yes, that is what I want. Then I suggest that you pack up your things and move out of this house at once.
Helen, are you sure that you're not being stupid here? If you had tried to get along with her mother-in-law, you would have been able to continue living in this gorgeous house. I heard that you've been withdrawing your savings and selling some valuable items recently. I guess you need the money to find yourself a new home, and getting a divorce is not cheap either.
I admit that the last 6 months hasn't been easy for me. I needed some money to fix the huge issue that I was facing. I've been working overtime every day for the past 6 months to pick up extra cash. Ken and I barely saw each other.
So, you're using work as an excuse instead of making an effort to solve your Marshall problems? That sounds like something that you would do.
I feel bad for Ken. How do you think that makes him feel that you earn more money than he does? I'm so glad that I'm married to Ariel and not someone like Helen. Mark, there's no need for you to say that. Don't make Helen look like a bad person.
But I thought that you two were getting a divorce.
Ken, you're still young and attractive. You'll find a new partner in no time. I'll help you get over Helen. Leave it to me.
Can we please try to set up Ken with someone who doesn't have a job like Helen? It'd be nice if Ken remarried someone that had more in common with. Helen and I never had anything to talk about.
Of course, that's the kind of woman that I'd like for Ken to remarry as well. Let's set Ken up with someone who is fun so that we can enjoy home parties together.
That sounds like a great idea. I'm so excited.
I'm looking forward to having a new sister-in-law as well.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but what is it, Helen? It seems that you three have misconstrued the situation. Huh?
What?
First of all, Ken and I aren't getting divorced. What? Ken listened to my side of the story and told me that he would fully support me in my decisions. Okay. Either way, this is Ken's house, so I know that he'll eventually return. Ken, I'll take good care of this house while you're gone, so feel free to move back in any time that you want. Ken, what is it? It looks like there's something that you want to say to me.
Mom.
I know how you feel, but don't get too emotional. I'll explain what we discussed to the rest of your family so that they'll understand.
Okay.
Ken and I will be moving out of this house today.
We know that.
The movers are bringing over our stuff to this house as we speak so that we can move in here.
But a month after today, all three of you will be evicted as well. What?
Huh?
Why?
What you all don't seem to know is that this house was purchased under my name. You've got to be joking. This is Ken's house.
Actually, Helen has the ownership rights. I couldn't get a mortgage with my current salary, so I asked Helen to apply for the loan instead.
That's right. So although Ken has been helping out with the loan payments, the mortgage and ownership rights are under my name. That doesn't make any sense. Well, that's the truth, so deal with it. So basically, you're asking us to move out because this is your house? Well, I'm not going to give up on this house so easily. I love living here. How do you intend on keeping this house? I refuse to move out, that's what. I mean, we're family, so it's not a crime for me to continue living in your house.
Well, that's a great idea, Mom.
Yes, this is a family matter. A third party can't come in here and tell us what to do.
Helen, I need to thank you for paying all the mortgage payments on this house. Oh, there's no need to thank me. I wanted to do everything in my power to get away from you three, so I paid back the mortgage in full already. I knew that you three would try to live in this house for free, so I came up with a plan.
Okay, we're listening.
I resolved this issue by putting this house up for sale. Since it's a great house, I was able to find a buyer right away. I mean, the house is in a great neighborhood with great schools and night restaurants.
Wait, so does this mean that?
Yes, in a month, the new owners will be moving in, and if you three are still here, they can have you arrested. So if I were you, I'd start looking for a new place to live.
That's not fair. It was my dream to live in a house like this. And I get along so well with my husband's mother, too. We would have had a great life here.
Well, so much for your dream then. Ken and I will be on our way now. Helen, wait! I already said everything that I needed to. I'll get out of your hair just like you wanted me to. I take it all back. I'm sorry, Helen. Please forgive me. We can talk about what's best for all of us. Ariel, what are you doing just standing there? Go make us a nice pot of tea.
Yes, will do.
There's no need for niceties. It's too late for that. And I don't want to drink any tea prepared by Ariel.
Let me also add that
What is it, Ken?
I know that you lied about the day that you took Gavin home from the daycare center.
Why would you say that? All I wanted to do was spend some quality time with Kevin. Is that so hard to believe?
Huh?
Did you just call Gavin Kevin?
What?
See? I was right. You've been calling our son Gavin by the wrong name this entire time.
Look, all I want is for Helen and Kevin to be happy. And I only picked up Kevin early from daycare because I wanted to bond with him. There's no harm in that, is there? I love Kevin. He's so precious. But Kevin is his name, isn't it? Wasn't he named after his father, Ken?
I was wondering why you called Gavin Kevin that time, but I didn't question it at the time because I thought that it was a one-time thing. Then I realized that it wasn't a one-time thing, and it didn't make sense that you didn't even know your own grandson's name if you cared about him so much. This only helped to prove Helen's point that all you care about is yourself and you don't love Gavin at all.
It was an innocent mistake. Perhaps I've gone senile in my old age. My love for Gavin is true. You have to believe me. Then what is this?
Please don't do this. I can't let you take Gavin home without Helen's permission.
Shut up, you imbecile! Just hand over the baby. It's not like I enjoy doing this. I don't want to take him home with me. He's ugly and smells bad. Don't you feel ashamed? You're helping lazy women get out of their responsibilities of bringing up their own children. And on top of that, you're making money off of them. What kind of a business are you running?
We support working mothers. They can't do everything on their own. It's okay to ask for help. Don't you think that your grandson is adorable?
No, I've never felt any type of affection toward this thing. Besides, he looks just like his mother, and I hate her too. Alan at the daycare center told me that you basically kidnapped Gavin. You could get into a lot of trouble if we showed this video to the police.
When I saw this video, I was devastated that my own mother would say such horrible things about my wife and son.
Is there anything that you want to add? Helen, it's Ken. I'm so sorry. I was jealous because after Ken got married to you, he seemed so distant. I was afraid I was losing him. If what you were saying were true, wouldn't you have done the same thing to Ariel as well? After all, she's married to Mark. Why do you treat Ariel and I so differently? Well, yes? I like Ariel because she is a housewife and takes good care of Mark. You, on the other hand, go out to work every day. I asked you to quit your job and prioritize your duties as Ken's wife many times, but you wouldn't listen. Ken and I prefer to have a stable income, and us both working full-time makes us feel more financially secure.
I agree with Helen, and I appreciate that she has a full-time job too. We feel that having financial stability gives us more options in life, and we want to be able to pay for anything that Gavin should require.
Gavin doesn't need any money. He'd rather have his mother waiting for him after school at home. How can you be so sure about that? You were a housewife, but look at how you turned out as an adult.
I know that Grandma was a housewife too, but she didn't turn out to be decent at all.
Well, see? Your reasoning doesn't make any sense at all.
She never makes any sense. Helen, let's go. There's no use continuing this conversation.
By the way, we're cutting all ties with you. You won't see us again. It was nice knowing you all. Goodbye. Hold on a second. What do you mean by that? You can't take Kevin away from me. He's my son.
Stop acting like the victim here. Own up to what you did.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You don't even feel bad about what you did to us. That's why you come up with all these excuses for yourself.
That's right. We never want to see you again. Don't worry. You still have Mark and Ariel by your side.
Oh, I almost forgot. We're gonna sue you for kidnapping Gavin from the daycare center. It's clear from the video that it was not an act of love, rather spite. You can't do that! We're family, remember? It doesn't matter. Being family doesn't make you a good person. Gavin is a minor and he can't defend himself yet, so if the court deems that you took him from daycare against his will, you will be penalized. We have the video showing what a monster you are, so I'm sure that the court will side with us on this. Well, we're off for now. Bye! Adios! Can we please settle this privately? I'm not a monster. My mother raised me to stand up for myself. She told me that once my sons got married, I needed to play the role of a strong mother-in-law. Your mother sounds like a pretty terrible person, too. After that, Ken, Gavin, and I moved out of the house. A week later, the person who had purchased the house for me came by and saw that my mother-in-law, Mark and Ariel, were still living there. Obviously, they were evicted. At the same time, the court ruled that what my mother-in-law did to Gavin at the daycare center was a crime. Ariel no longer wanted anything to do with her mother-in-law and cut all ties with her. She also told her husband Mark not to pay any attention to his mother. Hello?
Helen, please help me. I can't take any more of this.
What's going on, Ariel?
Mark couldn't leave his mother alone, and so he went out and bought a new house for the three of us to live in. Isn't that just crazy?
That sounds like something that Mark would do.
It would have been nice if we had separate living spaces, but it turns out that we have to share everything with his mother. This is awful for me. The only space I have to myself is my bedroom. And she orders me around to get the housework done to her high standards. It's so unfair.
But you love your mother-in-law, so it shouldn't be a problem, no? Isn't this a great opportunity for some mother-daughter bonding?
Can't you see how upset I am about this? She's so annoying. She lets me know how insufficient I am every chance that she gets. Helen, could you please help me?
Remember, I'm not as smart as you, so I'm sure that you'll be able to figure this out on your own. Good luck.
I wouldn't be calling if I didn't need your help. Besides, if you hadn't ditched her in the first place, I wouldn't be in a situation right now.
But you told me that you were dying to live with her. Your dream came true. Congrats.
Helen, wait, don't hang up on me. Helen!
I don't know why Ariel ever wanted to live with her mother-in-law, but she got her wish. I'm so relieved that I don't have to deal with Ken's dreadful family anymore. Ken, Gavin, and I began our new lives in a new neighborhood, and we were happier than ever. I hope that none of you are dealing with difficult mother-in-laws, because I know how hard it is firsthand. Trouble Busters!